All right, we are live. Let me double check my mic real quick before anything gets too crazy. Um, who wants to do the recap?
Oh, well, last session we essentially delved into the crashed nautiloid. To us seemed to have just fallen from the sky. But the further we explored this kind of depowered craft, bereft of a pilot, its captain kept within some sort of chamber. The more we, were disturbed by even the mere shapes of all the creatures around, with these flumps and these jellyfish, these brain and eye goo flesh-shaped monstrosities. Though Altaik seemed to be having a good time, even enjoying just the action of opening a door and finding like a world that seemed to be very responsive to him. We went to restore even like parts of a ship once we had some inkling as to what was going wrong. But even then, after defeating some sort of insane creature trapped within or kept within a reservoir, there was some disturbance. A shift in power. We'd go back to see if we can retrieve this pilot, this tentacle-faced master of the ship. And we had some understanding that the accident that damaged the ship didn't just occur, even though it seemed to fall in flames from the sky. But if I understand correctly, it seemed to be sourced from an incident some 10 years earlier.
I think that's right, yeah.
We after freeing this creature, we got an understanding of. God, I'm pulling back my notes. Where did I keep the name of this creature?
His name was Trout.
Yeah, and he seemed to be, he was a wounded figure, master of the ship. But from Altaik's understanding, a part of some aberrant faction known as the Isolationists. But before we could make too much on headway, as this creature was demanding updates of the present day, they themselves were slain by a rival or a leader.
Kind of seemed like a cop a little bit.
Forces. Yeah, someone who could just teleport at will and explode their brain.
Yep. Just
with in silence. A very startling realization.
Luckily, it didn't have anything to do with us.
No.
Brain's intact.
Mhm.
Yep. I think we also recovered Trelt's body. We put him in the bag of holding.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we put him in the bag of holding.
We just
Just
gotta
want to use him as a bargaining chip.
Yep, we just have an Illithid corpse in our bag. Though I don't think we know they're called Illithids yet.
No.
Yeah, I think that sort of background is something that is like very important for us to recover at this point to gain context into what's happening, especially as it even relates to this planet, but also on there and all the other aberrant activity we've dealt with thus far.
I think we had just gotten back on the ship. We had to leave because the ship was gonna overload, essentially.
Yeah, I think it
Yeah.
overloaded. I think we had the consequences of like a semi-powered but unmanaged nautiloid led to some sort of nuclear scale explosion.
Small nuclear scale explosion.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't. It's not gonna. I mean, it might be a big crater, but it's not gonna devastate the entire planet or anything. Just a little ship explosion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it seems like there were some other craft on the way to inspect it before it blew up. So hopefully those craft didn't get caught in the explosion. I don't think they did. I think like we went and hid in our ship and kept ourselves hidden, and then the ship exploded before anybody else got to it, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anything else anyone wants to add? Yeah, I think you guys just about covered it. You know what? I'm feeling generous tonight. Everybody take inspiration.
Oh boy.
Oh, wow. What a guy.
Thank you.
Man. Eugene really carried that for us, but we're all reaping the reward.
Yeah.
Okay. So we pick up as your crew is flying the Dragonhawk above the crash site and above the explosion cloud that erupted from this strange conch shell ship. You observe a few airships that were sent by the giants being hit by the shock wave, but they were a safe enough distance away that you don't see any of the ships go down.
Are we safe within the blast wave? Because like we tried to like take cover in the trees, right?
Correct.
Like,
And
is there, like collateral of?
So, you guys flew, because you rolled a natural 20 on that stealth check.
That's right.
You rolled stealth. Yeah, you were able to fly above the tree line. And this is a blast that was directed mostly vertical. So, you were outside of the immediate range where the trees were flattened. And so I would say that there is no immediate threat to your ship as you're escaping, because you have a very fast ship and you did move quickly. If you had not had flying mounts to escape quickly, you likely would have had a different conversation right now. So as you escape the blast relatively unharmed, let's go around and start with Valerian. You're piloting the ship away from the blast zone of this strange ship. What is going through Valerian's mind at this moment? What's he thinking?
I think Valerian is it hasn't been very long. It's only been a couple of days, like maybe a week. Well, I take that back. Maybe like 2 weeks since we lost Alric. Is that right? 2, 3 weeks.
If my time serves correctly, yes, it's been about 2 weeks.
Yeah. So I think Valerian is still, he's exhausted. He's been flying through the night, and kind of like going in and out. But I think he is just kind of thinking about that ship and about the things that can go wrong and the things that did go wrong for them, albeit very different circumstances. And he, I think, for one of the first times, feels almost like he is responsible, responsible for the ship and its entirety and everything on it and everything around it. And he thinks about Alric and about how his decisions will make or break. And I think he just sits with that, but he finds peace with that, and I think Phantom is roaming, so I like to imagine Phantom comes around, gives him little pets as he's trying to stay awake and just cruising.
You feel a gentle, comforting nudge in the back of your mind as the connected partner in the ship of Oak Blossom senses your emotional distress and helps gently keep you sharp and focused while flying. It's a joint venture. It's definitely dominated more by your personal thoughts, but she is almost a subconscious hand that you feel on your shoulder, and it's warm and comforting. And as Phantom passes by Rick, what's going through Rick's mind?
Well, so two things. First of all, Rick wants to get started on an autopsy pretty soon. Even though the head is exploded, there's still probably something we can learn about this creature that might help us out in the future. Second of all, things just got really a lot bigger in a cosmic sense as well. So not only are we don't know, through this portal we saw different stars basically, and it might just be a different angle on the same stars that we see, but nonetheless it's there's a whole other civilization out there that's apparently so big, and some of the people at least in it so powerful that they don't even care. This guy walked in, killed Trell, and was all right, see ya, left, and has the power to do that, and didn't even care that we were standing there, right? So that's a pretty big revelation as well. So I think he's gonna try to take his mind off of that by focusing on, hey, let's do an autopsy real quick.
Altaic, if you're positioned where you are, you see Phantom striding in, sitting down near Val within arm's reach. What is going through Altaic's mind right now?
So, could I have him... Is there something that would keep him from being on the deck currently?
There could be.
Because I had it in imagining of him staring at the nautiloid and wanting to see the explosion.
There are port windows down below deck. So
Okay.
I would say on the cargo deck, there are port windows near the stairwells, kind of near where the beds are, in the middle of the cargo deck. I could say you're down there, observing what's going on, watching the blast as the smoke cloud slowly begins moving through itself, creating that notorious to our world mushroom.
So is our actual like are we seeing like true smoke? Is this like are we looking at aspects of like graviturgy, and there is this like a warping of like space and time?
I would say roll me either an Arcana or Perception check.
Gotcha. This would be essentially, this is as close as he can get without just like fully pressing his like cheeks up, like a cheek up against the port window. Yeah, we'll go with perception. I think this is him trying to experience as much of the blast, not just like analyze it.
You're seeing a significant amount of smoke and debris thrown up, and the debris from the tree line is kicked up several hundred feet, blocking the vision of what's occurring at the lowest level of the smoke cloud. You see maybe some sort of distortion, but it's hard to see behind the massive trees. So there's a mild sense of disappointment there in your magically inclined sense, and maybe a little bit of your former self there wanting to learn a little bit more. So what's going through your mind as you're viewing this explosion?
He is ruminating over the discussion that they had, the few words that they had with these aberrant leaders, the master of that craft and the one that slew them, and he's trying to like find the words to like explain what he understands.
Okay.
Using this like is this like truly a catastrophe? Like he's trying to see if there's like anything else of like growth and chaos and opportunity in this moment, or is this entirely like aberrant as just like adversary and like antagonist in their eyes, in his eyes at this moment.
Xenoarchaeologist Toad, you have in your bag of holding on your body likely one of the most strangest and alien creatures in your record. What's going through Toad's mind right now?
I think Toad is curious about this larger like group of individuals. What is this collective? Who are the isolationalists? Like what is going on? Why aren't the Martivira concerned with a crashed ship on the planet? It was there for a while. We didn't see any sign of them. And I think Toad's also maybe a little sad about the creatures that were on board the ship that didn't attack us, that are now no longer alive, most likely, with the explosion. And so I think is not feeling good about that. I think Toad is curious to do an autopsy on the Mind Flayer, or to assist Rick doing an autopsy, but is more concerned with, like, I think Toad feels like there's pieces that are missing that they don't understand, and that frustrates them.
Indeed, there is many mysteries surrounding your chance encounter with these strange, seemingly advanced aberrant species creatures and their civilization. The recording crystal of your time aboard the ship sits safely in your bag as well, recording not just what you observed and what you saw, but maybe hide some clues, understanding where in the universe these people, if you can call them that, are. Okay. So as all of you are into your thoughts, where, Captain Valerian, are you directing the ship to? And
This is
you
a
can
great question.
call others to discuss.
I think Oak Blossom and I will fly up just so we can get like to a almost still in atmosphere, but
Mm-hmm.
pretty high up in the atmosphere. But
Okay.
a bird's eye view, and we start coasting, and I will
Okay.
call all the officers
Okay.
and
So
call
you
Frontier as well.
place the Dragonhawk in a holding pattern high above the clouds in an
Right.
obscure place of the atmosphere. Okay. You breach through the first level of cloud, and there's a break. So there's a massive break in the clouds as the mushroom cloud has created almost like a cylinder shooting up through the sky that's still clear and apparent even from the miles away that you are. And the rest of you are called to a offshore. I don't wanted to call it an officers meeting, but it's not an officers meeting.
A little
We'll call
summit.
We'll call it yeah, whatever you want to call it. What would you call this, Florian? If not an officers meeting?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is kind of weird. I think he would just start calling it meetings.
Okay. All right. So you call in your offshore party companion usuals.
I call Gus as well.
You call Gus as well. Do you call anybody else in for this conversation?
Nope.
Okay. All right. So the 5 of you assemble.
Okay. Sorry guys, I'm running on fumes here, but where do we? I mean, after that, I don't know where this takes us, but what are you guys thinking? Where do we go?
Good question. I mean, I think one thing we can do right off the bat is get started on doing some research on what we recovered. Toad.
Yeah. I mean, do you want me to take it out right here?
Oh no!
Oh,
Just
no,
slap
no,
that. Just slap
please.
that thing out on the middle of the officer's room.
Well, okay, that makes sense to me too. I wasn't sure.
I'm just saying, after this is done, we should get started on that because this is the first time I've ever encountered something like this.
Yeah, I think.
And we don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, can someone spin me up on what happened inside there, please?
Oh yeah.
The long and skinny of it is went in there. It's a crash ship, been like a stasis 10 years. Found a guy in there, has a bunch of tentacles on his face. You'll see him pretty soon if you go out when they're doing the autopsy.
Well, you won't see the face. It's the issue.
You
Yeah,
recovered
well,
one of these creatures? Alive? Dead? Please tell me dead.
Dead. He was
So unbelievably dead.
Oh, okay. I'm not
you ever
even
heard of
complaining.
someone just taking a portal and blowing up someone else's head and then taking a portal out? Any assassins that do that out here, Gus?
No.
Yeah,
Not to my
that's
knowledge.
It's my reaction too. So I don't know what we make of
Fucking
that,
great.
but I think we keep that in our back pocket. Just kind of dwell on that for a little bit. But what we can influence is, of course, the autopsy. So we definitely need to run that. Figure out what we need. If we need to, well, depending on how well the autopsy goes, I would say I think that's priority number one. But we could use it as a bargaining chip, or maybe to show favor to the Martivira, if we want to even go there with known company on board. Don't want to put you in danger, I'll take.
Well,
You do have that
Given-
ring, so
I imagine that the ring would keep me from their attentions in a more crowded space. I don't know if it would hold under direct scrutiny. As far as danger, there's someone who can teleport in wherever, and then
yeah.
Oh, shit.
have our brains erupt from the inside.
I like to think that
Fan-fucking-tastic.
the only way they could do that is because that ship was also made of like tentacles, and maybe they made like a I don't know. I see one tentacle, and that's it. Please, I'll take. Don't let my head get exploded.
I agree that we definitely need to find a place where we can learn more about the context of these of these creatures. There's a pause, and I'll take takes a deep breath. There is a possibility that we've gleaned some insight into factions within our race, and if they are antagonistic towards each other, perhaps they've formed defenses, ones that were defenses perhaps that were disabled on that damaged ship, but would have otherwise protected them against such intrusion.
Yeah. It might be worth it or worthwhile, I'll take, if you have any interest in it, to maybe accompany, or obviously with Rick and Toad's blessing, to accompany them with the autopsy. You might be able to give them a better grasp on the anatomy, or help here and there.
It's not a
I
bad
do.
idea.
Kind of on that point too, actually. I do think, speaking of research, I'm forgetting her name. Dionysia. From what you said, Rick, the research there was pretty extensive. Is that right?
You're talking about the library they had?
Yeah, the library.
Well, so I was thinking about this. I was thinking actually we could maybe ask the Martivira if they had any information on this, since they seem to be the ones, most opposed to aberrations.
Interesting.
I mean, I guess we could go back and check. Hey, Chief Gus, I see.
I don't know why that is. Sorry.
Yes.
Like time for my close-up.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know if the librarian would be like. I mean, we could always go back and check, but if the Martivira are so opposed to aberrations, they must, know their enemy, right? Maybe they have something they can tell us, or maybe they can tell us how they defend against them.
That is a really good point, actually. You're right too, because it is especially against aberrations.
Yeah, they didn't seem to be a big fan of Altaic, so maybe they can tell
I
us why.
think- Yeah, as long as Altair keeps himself safe with the ring, and we can present the body of that being to them, then maybe we can gain enough favor to at least explore the city if they take visitors. I don't know how that works, but we really, truly, I think this goes without saying, if we are going to engage the Martivira at all, we have to act with the utmost caution. If things get heated or could get heated, and at any point we take the low road, we get out.
Should we be taking the risk of letting this one here, and he gestures to Altape, even go? They seem pretty spiteful towards your kind. I know you got that ring and all that I hear y'all talking about, but y'all sure that's gonna work?
Yeah, it's a
happy
little
to-
risky.
I'm happy to remain on the ship, unless you feel that I can be summoned.
I'm not
The other-
I'm not comfortable letting anybody else off the ship, Cap, unless you order me to do so. I mean,
No. We're there for a very specific purpose if we go there. If we're allowed in, I should say. But actually, I kind of agree with Gus here. Maybe you wear the ring, but we don't. Like if we could go off ship, you don't come off ship, but we can at least see if the ring works. That way, if we do come back, you can join us with that ring. But I really don't want to risk your life just so you can come see some books with us, you know?
Yeah, I'll take nods. It's like, that seems prudent.
Yep. Okay, so I think that's maybe our first action. Well, our first action, of course, should be the autopsy, but after that we go to the Martivira. Then we kind of try to figure out what the hell happened here, and plan our next move.
Hey, I think that the recording crystal captured the stars that we saw when someone went through, or whatever his name was.
Oh, through the portal.
Yeah, maybe Signy, or as a navigator, could look at them and
That's right.
have some kind of idea of where they are.
that's a good catch. Do you happen to have that on you? We can have her look into that right away.
Yeah. Toad reaches in, I think, thinking of the dead body, so grabs that and swishes it, takes her hand out, puts it back in, and grabs the recording crystal. Ugh. It's a little slimy now.
Oh, hey,
I'll
do you
get
want to
with
show
it.
Gus the guy getting his head blown off?
You can do that. I don't want to see that again.
Yeah. Well, I just say
Yes.
maybe Gus should look at that because it's crazy, man.
It was horrifying.
I'm sure I'll watch it for my report regardless. I'll get to it when I need to. When in this recording should Stigny be looking for? Is it near the beginning, near the end?
Right at the end.
Gotcha. We'll get on it. We'll see what we can figure out.
Okay. Well, Gus, before you go, any other points of interest we need to bring up before we start? I think we maybe take a day. I would love some rest, definitely to speak to these celestial overlords. I want to be at my best. But anything else? Some notes. Okay, perfect. All right, let's do this. You guys have the. I mean, if you need me, I'll put on some gloves. I'll get the apron, the whole thing. But please don't need me.
I think we'll be okay. I'll get Kraft to help me out.
Okay. All right, so Chief Gus grabs Signy and they start trying to parse whatever information that they can based off of the location of the stars, if they can identify the stars. And so, Valerian, you go to rest. I would say it's probably close to dinner time at this rate. Actually, it's probably close to nighttime based on my recollection. So, you're back on the regular circadian rhythm, at least of Therendor. Are you taking a long rest?
I am, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
There's a chance for it.
So Valerian is taking a long rest. So it is getting towards the night. Are you, the rest of you, wanting to do this autopsy now? If it goes for a long time, it may go through the night. Or are you wanting to get some rest first, then go at it first thing in the morning?
What are you thinking, Toad?
Maybe we should get some rest first. And, I mean, it'll stay in...
It's not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere, unfortunately. So maybe we sleep first. It's late. Your eyes, need rest.
All right, that's fine with me.
Okay. So y'all in agreement? You're all taking a long rest then?
Yeah.
All right.
I think so.
Day 1 of this adventure that you all set off on, you rested back at Ondare, Wynarn University in the training grounds after getting a scope of an idea of what might lie ahead of you. Today marks day 90
Ooh.
Oof.
of your adventure. How far things change in just 3 months. And that begins day 91. So, I would like... I'm gonna call this... Toad.
Mhm.
Since you were the one that gave Signy the recording crystal with the stars and caught that bit of information, I would like for you to roll her check on triangulating the stars.
Okay.
So I'd like this to be a blind GM roll. It's a
Okay.
D20 and the modifier is +5. Okay. So, Toad, because you only rest for 4 hours, are you doing anything before or after your 4-hour respite?
I think Toad will rest the last 4 hours so that maybe there's some overlap with Valerian waking up as Toad goes to rest. And I think Toad's just gonna ask Zephyr if he knows anything about the name the Isolationists. I think the reasoning is we know Zephyr has traveled in the known galaxy to some extent. And so we know that these are at least 10 years old. So I think Toad's hoping that the name has come up at some point.
And you, Toad, would know that Zephyr is available at any hour. Because Zephyr seems to never need to sleep.
Wow.
Yeah. Real weird Birdman behavior.
Real weird Birdman behavior. And so you find him in his normal meditation pose. And so you ask him about if he's heard of the name of the Isolationist.
Yeah.
His eyes will flutter open. They open at different rates as his eyes seem to kind of refocus on the world around him. Hello, Toad. Let's see. Isolation. Do you have any more context that might refresh my recollection?
Yeah, they seem to be the the aberration similar maybe to, what Altaic was or is.
Hmm.
I think Total, if Signy's done with the recording crystal, would show Zephyr the last bit, like specifically talking to Trout and Zelak showing up and exploding his head, and then the teleport away.
Oh, goodness.
Here's a snuff film real quick.
I know that was gruesome. But you're a pirate. I just figured you'd seen.
His bird beak smirks. Says, in my previous days, I dealt with many a manner of psionic beings, and I knew of one that could perform something similar, but he was part of the crew, and he did not look like that. He was, in fact, human. Strange boy, but well-mannered, well-meaning. He learned how to do that after several years of traveling together, so while I don't believe I recognize those creatures, I will say that they are, at least the one that performed the act, is incredibly powerful. I hope that we're not attempting to take these creatures on. I feel this might be too much of a match for you and the crew at this current level of experience of what you've encountered.
No, I don't think we plan to go fight them right now, but I think information is good for us to know, so that we may encounter them, more of them, the further out we go from Eberron.
I don't think I've heard of the Isolationists. However, I have seen those ships before, and I can't say that there was any dealings with them. We stayed, I know this sounds silly, but we stayed far away from every other ship until we could learn exactly what we were dealing with, and we never found out exactly of any creatures we were dealing with, so we left every other ship in cyberspace alone, which was incredibly difficult. Our ship was not as fast nor as discreet as, and he knocks on the wood underneath him, your lovely Dragonhawk.
Yeah, pirate ships surely stick out, and with like the flag with the skull and the bones, but they weren't aggressive when did they never see you, or did they just never attack you?
They likely would have seen us, but we moved. I think the one time we did see them, I believe they ported away. They seemed to be stopping to inspect some sort of asteroid, and then they moved on rather quickly. It was a chance encounter that we spotted them. It was one of those moments where, I don't know how often you've experienced it, but you travel long enough, you'll run into those chance encounters where your jammer slows down in, expectations of fight, or, real pirates, not such as myself. They wished they could have our ship. Where you chance encounter them, and then, as quick as a snap, they were gone, and we were back on our way. But I did see them from my crow's nest, and we left them be because they were gone quick as a flash. So yes, I would imagine that there's, I can't imagine. It seems slightly different coloration from the ship that crashed here, so I imagine they have more than one, but we never engaged with, and he gestures to the paused recording of the tentacled-faced aberration. We never interacted with any creature that looked like that. And the Isolationists is not the name that I recall. I'm sorry, Toad. I wish I could.
No, that's okay. It's helpful to know that they didn't attack you outright. Maybe they didn't seem to think we were a threat. So maybe
Make me a charisma check.
Oh. Oops, I didn't mean to roll that blind.
Yeah, just reroll. Just reroll the.
Doesn't count.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Your wisdom.
Well, I mean, considering that our ship was about 10 times the size of theirs, I'd imagine that most individuals that we encountered in this galaxy generally tended to leave us alone.
One day you're gonna have to tell me what happened to your ship. How you and your friends became so scattered. Not today. I'm tired. But
Maybe one day.
well, thanks for your help. I hope you're. Are you okay? Are you?
Oh, quite fine.
Do you like?
Thank you for
Do you
asking.
like it here?
I do. It's the sense of chaoticness and stress and plotting and constant noise. It's comforting.
Yeah. It's weird being trapped on the ship so often. I'm used to having more space.
Well, in my opinion, and he looks up at the field of stars above you, I feel quite at home being able to see that. But everyone's different. I can understand. There were those that missed being back on a planet on a more permanent basis, but not me. I'm a roamer. I
like
can't
to
stay in one
roam.
space.
I worry. I don't know. We don't spend very long on any place that we stop, and there's so much to learn, and we learn a little, but I hope we get to go back.
Oh. You'll never truly learn everything. Sages and archmages, they love this thing that they have, but till you really zoom out, you understand just how small we are and how much we won't ever know. And we have to come to terms with knowing our little sliver of the universe. Whether that be the people or, the world itself. There's beauty in the pockets.
You could write poetry, Zephyr, if you don't already. This was a good conversation, but I think I have to go
Of course.
rest and then help Rick.
Always a pleasure, the archaeologist Toad. I'll see you around.
Of course. And then I think Toad, we'll go rest for the night.
Okay. You all wake up with the sun beaming through the portholes of your spelljamming craft. Night shift lazily goes back down. And you begin your day. Sounds like you guys have some plans.
I think Valerian wakes up, grabs, tries to make his own coffee, but I assume that there's coffee already made.
For sure.
And,
Toad for sure made a pot before they went to
yeah.
bed.
And yeah, I think I'll go drink a cup of coffee outside, just on the deck, and wait for a minute or two, then get to flying.
Okay. Where are you heading?
I think we're cruising
Mhm.
until we get word from Rick and Toad about the autopsy, but we're cruising towards. Actually, do we even know where the Martivir are?
Yes,
One of the
you
big
know
three
the general.
cities.
Yeah, you know the general direction. You can
Okay.
start making your way there.
Yep.
I'd say, if you take the jet winds, you can probably catch it. If you take the jet streams and the highest levels of the altitude, you make it a speed boost. You may be able to get there in maybe half a day, maybe a full day if the jet streams aren't as accommodating.
Okay. Nice. So what we'll do then.
You fly the ship up to the edges of the atmosphere where the winds and currents move like the sea below, and the sails grow taut with the wind, and the extra air helps push your ship faster. As you begin your journey towards the city of peace. Some ground floors below. Something less sunny is beginning, I presume.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That sounded
Alright,
too
Rick.
enthusiastic for me.
All right. Are we ready, Toad?
Where should I put him on this table? Do you have like an operation? We used one before, right?
Yeah, do we have an operating room?
You can make a makeshift operating room in the ship hull. You guys have done it before.
Okay.
And if you're doing that, the night shift is gonna take a little while before they go down there.
Okay.
So you'll have the ship hull to yourself. It's kind of in the area between the cages and where the cargo is in the back right corner. So kind of in this open area space here. So you sanitize the area. Go ahead.
Oh, is Altair joining us? Was that kind of the plan?
Oh yeah, if he wants to.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay.
Gaining insight, and there is like a like gaining insight into like the physiology and just like the introspection involved is something that would definitely incentivize him to like ask if he could join. Just even if there's just like a like old or like some operating places have like observer stands, but that's probably not part of the ship.
Yeah. We'll let you in. We'll let you into the tent. The the whatever it's called.
The tween room.
Yeah.
There you go.
You
Krath
sanitize
is here
an
too.
area. Krath is with you. Okay. All right. So the four of you, you guys are all suited up, all whatever accounts for hygiene in the world of Eberron. I'd say it's relatively sanitary, compared to today's standards. It's not medieval and barbaric, right? You're a doctor. You're not a medicine man, so at least our titles have changed to reflect some level of competency here. So, all right, Toad, you pull out the body.
Yeah.
Okay.
Swap it out, Toad.
Toad delicately puts it on the table.
Okay.
Yep. And immediately, brain matter falls to the ground as some of it spills out of the head of this creature.
Now is
Krath's
the
eyes
whole
go
head
wide.
like? Is it the whole head ruined, or is it just like a big? Is it like just the top of the skull is exploded open?
It is the top of the skull that is exposed.
Good. We have even more to look at.
So I would say the top 20% are. It's almost like, well, we'll see what we get into with examination.
Mhm.
But what you can observe is you can look directly into the top of the entire skull, from forehead to back of head.
Nice.
And their heads are a bit oblong. They're almost oval in shape. So, yeah. Okay. You got a dead body. What are you looking to learn? All three of you. Krat's eyes go wide, by the way. He's trying to remain professional, and it's just functionally serving mostly as the point of an assistant.
He gets to, get his hands dirty every once in a while. I think Rick is trying to figure out. I think this is largely going to be a scientific endeavor. So I don't know if Toad has the same idea, but mostly just like figure out how this thing works, how its anatomy compares to other creatures that we know of, and try to figure out like if we can determine age, if we can determine like how it eats, things like that.
Okay. Physiology. Okay. What about Toad?
I think Toad is looking additionally for like weaknesses that this type of creature might have.
Okay.
Or, if we can get an idea like from its physiology, like is it strong in body, or it seems like it's obviously more strong in mind, but does it
Maybe it works out.
seem beefy? Yeah, maybe he lifts, all of his individual face tentacles.
Yeah. And finally, Altaic.
I think Altaic he'll be like looking for like similarities to his own physiology, but like essentially trying like giving aid by like trying to reference his own
Okay.
physiology.
So you're more so serving as a consultant, in a sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like he will be seeking like, what does he'll be like trying to think back of like what can he intuit about these creatures, because it seems like he has some like resonance or some like intuition about them. Maybe he'll like try to unlock like, does he have like true memories or something, or is it just like qualia? Does he have knowledge but not actual memory?
Okay.
That remains to be unlocked.
Okay. All right. And Krath is going to serve functionally as an assistant. So, to all three of your roles, or a combination, and it'll stack. It'll be a +2 to all your rolls in this autopsy. So that's Krath's role in this. Okay. So, physiology from a medical standpoint, understanding the body dynamic. Let's have Rick. And so during this autopsy, all these are going to be blind GM rolls, please.
Yeah.
So, Rick, I want you to make me so I'll have you make me a medicine check. Toad, this will be a xenoarchaeologist check. I will tell you right now, the spell shards have nothing on this.
Yeah, I figured that's why I didn't want to consult them while I was
Yes.
just doing it off of the autopsy.
Correct.
Also, Toad's gonna have a recording crystal out again to record the autopsy.
Perfect. Okay. And then Altaic, for you,
Yeah, I've been thinking on this like, is it like insight or nature or maybe history?
Yeah, I think for you, specifically, let's call it a history for Altaic, not history for Alaric.
Gotcha.
It's history you're attempting to recall for you specifically. So yeah, let's go ahead and make those rolls. And Altaic, did you add the +2? Or let me know if you guys added the +2 from Krath, or if I need to do that retroactively.
I did not add a +2.
Okay, Altaic did not. Rick?
I did just now.
Did. Okay, right, and then
I
Code?
did not.
Okay,
No.
got it. Okay. So, let's start with physiology. All right. So, this is a humanoid-esque creature,
That's right.
and it has, right, I will show you again the appearance of this creature. So, it did wear some sort of cloth garbing with some level of armor, so some level of defense against physical, right?
Yeah.
What that is, we'll get into a little bit more later, right? So, first thing to note, different number of appendages, right? That's not incredibly unnatural. There's plenty of creatures in Eberron in the world that don't have 5 appendages, right?
My God. Oh no.
So, the first part that immediately jumps out to you, right, is even though the brain cavity has been destroyed, there is a significant amount of room for a large cranium, right?
Mhm.
Which leads you to believe that there is potentially more mental processing power of this creature, right? And that was clear and apparent by observation based on the telepathic communication that you had, even though you have none of that power yourself, right?
Yeah.
So that's clear and apparent. As far as they have 2 legs, they have 2 arms. You sense a normal digestion system. However, the acid is different in the stomach lining to reveal that there's likely... It seems to have an innate, stronger capacity to digest and consume the acid that is normally produced in a brainstem. Which leads you to believe that this creature consumed brainstems or brain matter itself. And the tentacles on the creature seem to be controlled by like some semblance of the cheek muscle, and there is an innate ability that they stretch almost farther than the arm reach of this creature. So you get the sense that their tentacles can be used as an appendage all on its own, even though it is based off of the cheek muscles. But as you're diagnosing and discovering more, their cheek muscles are incredibly strong, leading that it seems like they can stretch those cheek muscles out to, I mean, at least 5 feet of reaching out of these tentacles. So it seems like it's more than just for show, right? Okay. What else would you learn from this? There is an innate additional system of circulation that is linked by very small channels that appear like veins, but what flows through it is not blood. It is almost... It to you looks like the stuff of what constitutes your spiritual weapon. Like magic given some physical form.
Ooh.
And that gives you an intense inspiration that there is some level of innate magic that runs through this creature. And all of the system leads through and is most concentrated in what remains of the brainstem, the brain matter of this creature.
I see.
So, you already knew they were powerful psionic, and it seems like they have some innate level of psionic power flowing through their veins.
Can I ask a specific question?
You absolutely can. You feel confident that you you have learned much from this autopsy.
So, given Altaic's situation, can I tell if this thing has like occupied another creature's body, or if this is its natural biology? Like, it was born this way.
That is an excellent question. This creature does not give you the same impression as the abandoned, which were clearly corrupted and changed by an exterior source.
Right.
The aberrant qualities that you've come to understand as corruption and change, interestingly enough, they're either not apparent or they are so natural to the creature that it is indistinguishable.
Gotcha. So it might have just been, this is how it is. Like, this is born this way.
Yes.
Or it could have just been, it's been so far gone that it's not,
Yeah.
You can't even tell anymore.
You're inclined to believe that they were born this way. Or
Gotcha.
you're not seeing reproductive organs. So you think about born.
What's the dick look like?
There's no reproductive organs.
Okay.
So you're curious about what their sense of creation is. And it is a mystery. So this is not a creature that was born through natural means.
Gotcha.
So yeah, you can put that together. The tentacled appendages also seem to have, similar to like a squid, hooks inside of them to the point where they seem almost genetically engineered to crack open bone. And you get the distinct impression that this would work best on a curved piece of bone. And as you're looking at the head, it dawns on you that these tentacles will work perfectly on a cranium of another humanoid creature. So you get the impression that these hooks were used to dig into the cranium of a creature and potentially remove the skull cavity of another humanoid. And you piece together, right, that it already has the ability to digest brains. It also has the ability to extract those brains.
Yep. Yeah, sort of like munches on them. Just gets right in there.
And they look sharp as all hell. They look sharper than... They look twice as sharp as... Each individual blade looks twice as sharp as the sharpest sword that you know of, which is the Sword of the Payrons.
Boy, howdy. This thing is purpose-built to eat someone's brain, it seems like.
Okay.
Also, though, look, it's smooth like a Ken doll down here.
Interesting.
How does it fuck? We don't know.
I was wondering if it was made like a corkscrew, like on a duck, you know?
Oh, God. Well, thank goodness it's not that.
Ever the xenoarchaeologist. Okay.
Well, I get the feeling this thing was more like created than born, but it does seem like this is its natural biology. Like, it didn't take over someone's body. Could be wrong, though. Could have just been so far progressed that we can't tell anymore, but nonetheless, very interesting.
I wonder how they're made if they don't.
Well, we saw those big vats back there, right? Those, all that goop. That maybe they're made that way.
Interesting. Maybe. We
Any
should have,
other...
we should have like gotten a sample or something.
Oh, you're kind of right. Also, wish we asked that guy.
What other insights do you want to know about the physiology of this humanoid?
I'm open to any inquiries, people.
Yeah, you can crowdsource this if you guys need to. Rick rolled really high.
Rick rolled.
Almost like he rolled the highest number he possibly could.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, interesting. How old is the creature?
Oh yeah, we were looking for the age.
Yes.
Is there any way to tell?
I will say Altaic. This is where your insight comes in. I'm going to tell you right now, this is likely the only point where your insight will come in.
Okay.
So, you understand the aberrations generally. It's not a sense of age, but it's a matter of is there enough mass to continue changing to keep sustained in most aberrations. But with perfection in the flesh of this creature, you get the sense that there was no growth period, and that this creature would not age. You get the intent that their body would not decay, with the exception of potentially their mind, if they don't use it consistently. So the brain may fail, because that is a very complicated organ. But you get the intent that they were not... There's no child cycle with this creature. So I'll take it you are able to provide the insight that you get the impression that this creature was created as it is today.
Gotcha.
Besides the missing cranium.
The only passing of time I think we have is like the wound.
Yes.
Which is, drawn out by, I suppose, the time it's spent in that chamber. Or sorry, not the wound it received from the other illithid, or the.
Yep.
But like the one that it sustained, presumably from the blast 10 years ago.
Yes. And there are some minor wounds that are indicative of that. Or not minor, excuse me. Those were major wounds, right?
Mm-hmm.
To the body. And you, together, the two of you can use the information on what a fresh wound on this creature looks like compared to an older wound. And there's even older wounds. And based on compiling even the most minute scratches and nicks on this body, at minimum 500 years. But it could be 2-3 times that. This is an ancient creature. Any other questions, Rick? And then we'll go to Toad.
I have none more.
Toad. As Rick is exploring these psionic channels, you are focusing on other pieces of the physiology in order to understand more about the strengths and weaknesses of a potential threat, right? Based on the psionic channels to this creature's mind and the size of the cranium, you get the innate and obvious understanding that this creature is incredibly intelligent and possesses a high intellect in general. You can also explore the brain channels for the neuron connections of what would be less of the intellect and more of the innate body resistance and what some would call physical presence, as well as the standard functions of the common functions and common sense thinking that the creature would do, not less of the high intellectual thought. Both of those are also very well developed parts of the creature's brain. Intellect rules this creature, but should you feel the need to cast a spell that targets this creature's wisdom or personal presence of charisma, they are close to the level of intelligence that this creature has on an intellectual nature.
Mm.
But as far as the physical makeup of this creature, as far as their muscle tendons, their joints, their muscle mass, their general body constitution to braving the elements, all of those are average to slightly above average. Nothing remarkable about the physical qualities of this creature below the shoulders. I would say that you can also understand in examining the eyes that there is a innate sense of low-level vision, a natural, you would understand it as being naturally inclined to be able to perceive in the dark, such as dark vision. And the irises give you the impression that it is farther than most humanoids. It's above average sight level. I'll give you one more question to ask about the potential weaknesses of this creature.
Is there a way Toad can test a little, maybe like a little drop of poison on the skin to see how it reacts to that? Thinking back to Talai, who was immune to it.
How embarrassing that was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Toad's like really secretly pouring a little poison on the foot.
And that's fine.
It's like, ugh.
Yeah, you can take a sample of flesh and test against this. This is a common test that you performed. The poison that you pour, is it a magical or regular poison?
I guess it would just be a little drop of purple worm poison, so just regular poison.
Okay. The purple worm poison works very effectively as intended, dissolving the flesh and body of this small sample size that you have. It works like how you intended it to work in testing. It does not seem to have any sort of innate resistance to poison.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. And I'll take, like I mentioned before, your memory on this creature is... You were hoping coming down would assist you with discovering more about this creature, that the experiences you have are what you have in this open setting. But gaining new knowledge from this autopsy, unfortunately for you, seeing this creature in this state versus seeing it alive does not spark any new memories for you.
Gotcha.
Because in all natural 20s, there must be balance.
Oh no.
All right. Rick, that was a 29 medical roll.
Woo! Yeah, you know.
Jesus.
Yeah, you know.
You're almost at the point of rolling above 30 for a skill, which is just... You guys aren't even over level 10 yet. Relax.
Yep.
Relax.
Well, it's all thanks to Krath's help, actually.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes,
And a
Krath.
natural 20, of course.
Krath dutifully, if not holding in his breakfast sometimes, is assisting with the procedure itself, handing tools, cutting certain pieces of flesh open, holding different instruments to assist with this autopsy. You do not lose the ability to further study this creature at a later date due to how careful you dissect and perform autopsy of this creature. So if you would like to store it back, obviously it's opened up already, so the smell is getting stronger. It is a dead body, and it's going to slowly start emitting a stench. But you can return to this creature for further study if you preserve it.
I think we're just going to need to preserve it to present it to the Martavira. So
Are you-
Toad back in the thing?
Are you putting it back post operation, still open?
Well, let's wrap it up in some plastic. Let's get it in a body bag. Whatever would amount to that. Let's
Vacuum
yeah. You know
seal
what?
it.
We'll close it back up, sew it up.
Okay. I will say with your roll, you can close it back up to the point where, unless someone is directly studying every inch of this body, unless they open it, there is no signs of an autopsy performed on the body.
Oh
Nice.
You are a master doctor. Okay. Sewed it back up. Your tentacle-faced friend is back in Toad's holding bag.
Well, Toad, what do you say? You get anywhere else to put him?
No, I think all the preservation chests we have are better suited for food.
Probably.
I don't know that anyone would like it if we put it in there temporarily and then took it out, even if we cleaned it. So yeah, okay. Put him back in the bag.
Open that thing up wide. Here we go.
Never
Okay.
gonna get the smell out.
Okay. You perform your autopsy of this creature and learned a good amount.
Mm-hmm. Happy about that. And we got to
Yeah.
keep its clothes.
Yeah,
Did it
it's
have
a-
anything else on it except for its armor?
Its armor was breastplate. It did not seem to have any equipment on it besides its armor. It had no bag. It had no. It seems like it. Yeah, it didn't have anything on it. Strangely enough, but you think back to the stasis chambers, and with your general level of intelligence and wisdom between the three of you, you can deduce that anything in there likely would have interfered with the technology, however alien it is. Guys travel light.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of sentimental folks. Gotcha.
Okay. The three of you return back up to find Valerian well rested. Slowly moving at some noticeable speed towards the Martivira and the rest of the Celestials as a whole, towards the Sanctum of Peace. Today is my memory serves me correctly. Today is the day before, if not the date. No, it's the day before what you all understood to be the event occurring in Peros,
The nightclub.
the nightclub. It is Thursday, in whatever equates to the day of Thursday on this planet and in the world of Eberron.
Yep.
There are days in the 10-day. However, we abstract that for everyone's sanity.
Sorry, guys.
Okay. So you all regroup. It only took you, I'd say, about an hour. Actually, I'd say 2 hours to knock out that autopsy. So you're about a quarter of the way to the Sanctum of Peace. And as you head back upstairs, accompanied by the other two, Toad, I'm assuming you are wanting to meet up with Signy?
Yes.
Okay. So, Signy had a very successful night. Signy was able to deduce 3 things. And all of these are incredibly useful. 1, she was able to deduce that the constellations in the short glimpse into the portal were in fact constellations in cyberspace in this solar system. And so, because of that, she was able to triangulate not only the planet, but a general approximation of the location on the direction on that planet. A general location on the planet itself.
That's huge.
So, you all tab over to the cyberspace map. Cyberspace, excuse me.
I am there.
Cyberspace. I think it's cyberspace. So, okay. The 7th planet of the solar system, known as Lervion. The constellations lead Signy to believe that this portal was opened to that moon. The moon of Lervion.
Interesting.
The location on the planet was close to, if not directly on top of, the northern axes of the planet. Almost north, what we would call in English language, the North Pole.
Gotcha.
There's Santa Claus.
They're elves.
That's how he gets around. Teleportation.
Yeah, that's what it does.
One more piece of information that nobody in this group noticed, but because there's a natural 20 at play here, Signy spotted one more piece of intelligence inside the portal. In the sky, in space, there was a ship hovering. There were 2 ships hovering above the planet with weapons almost as long as the ship itself, similar to the cannon on your ship, but drastically upsized, pointed at the location of the city, which you could describe as a city, in orbit above the planet.
Oh.
Did Signy get an idea of like are the ships recognizable? Like, are they Karnath? Are they from Eberron?
They are. The hull is wooden, but because the profile of the ships is not perfect, the only true piece of intelligence that she was able to... It looks like the ship was built around the cannon.
Interesting.
So, let me see if I can pull something up here. Give me 2 seconds. If I were to... Let me see if I can... Can I show you this item? Here, I will just screen share this. The ship looked something like the ships, plural. He identified 2 of the same make. The ship looked something like this. Let me give it to you in... Fuck it, we'll do it in handouts. So as you see, the cannon itself is the majority of the bow of the ship.
Oh
or
my.
majority of the length of the ship.
Overcompensation, I think.
Maybe.
Okay, so they're armed and dangerous.
They are armed and dangerous.
These are pointed at the planet, like in an attack.
Yes.
way?
They were not firing during the recording, but they seem to be directed at the city and at the planet.
Oh, weird.
Interesting.
Well, tell Signy she did a great job.
Signy, Rick says you did a great job.
I think that's the first compliment he's ever given me.
I know, he's really growing.
Okay. It took me a second for that one to hit me. Okay. Do you guys want to go to Tharmartavir now? Or do you specifically maybe more for Moses? This might be a little bit of a longer thing. We can either jump into that now, and I'd say maybe it'll take maybe take us to the hour, or we can end here and pick that up next session.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind ending it here. It's a good stopping point if the next stop is the Murder Bureau.
Good.
Just
Yeah,
sounds
we
like
can do
it is. Yeah, sorry guys, I'm just like I got something super freaking early in the morning on a Saturday.
You're good, bro.
Totally fine. Oh, also, happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Happy
Hey.
birthday.
32.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah.